Oh no. Hello everyone, I'm Sir Snorglebum, and welcome to my boss guide for the Corrupted Taro fight in Cana, Bridge of Spirits. The footage in the background is taken from my live stream. If you'd like to see the whole stream, including all the fails insult, just check the link in the description. I'm currently playing through on PC on Spirit Guide difficulty, so this guide will be based on that. But enough of the intro, let's get into it. Now, before we get into the fight itself, let's talk about which upgrades I think will be the most beneficial for you to invest in. The first one I highly suggest is Focus. This bow upgrade will cause time to slow down if you press F on PC or right stick on controller while your bow is drawn. This upgrade will make it a lot easier to hit Taro's lantern for some stuns and easy damage, but more about that later. The second upgrade I suggest is Infused Arrow. This arrow uses your rot buddies to deal tons of damage and flinches just about anything. It'll also slow time when you aim it, which can give you a few seconds to line up that perfect shot. My third suggestion is the Perfect Charge Heavy Attack. I waited way too long on my playthrough to get this ability. Not only does it do tons of damage, but it also flinches a lot of enemies, and you can chain 3 charge strikes together. Great for damage when you have a big opening. Last but not least, the Sprint Attacks. Sprint Attack Light and especially Sprint Attack Heavy are great openers for bosses like Corrupted Taro that love to move around a lot. So, those are my suggestions for the upgrades that I think will make this boss fight a lot easier for you. But Sir Snorkelbum, what about Parry Counter and Parry Courage? Well, honestly, I suck at parrying in this game. If you're good at it, these 2 skills are a must-have and will definitely not only make boss fights, but a lot of the general combat easier. But if you're like me, then these 2 skills are nice to have, but can't be relied upon consistently. It's also worth mentioning that Enter the Fray is probably one of the first things you should unlock at the beginning of the game. Starting combat with 1 rod action available is huge and will help you get an early advantage in most combat scenarios. Now that we're done with the upgrades, on to the fight itself. Corrupted Taro has 2 phases. In the first phase, Taro uses mostly his sword to attack you. He can be parried, and if you're good at it, you can take advantage of it to rack up some damage while he's stunned. You'll want to start the fight by using a rot action on his shoulder, followed by a pulse to do some damage and stun him for a bit. After this opening, I found it easier to stay away from him and wait for opportunities to attack rather than stick close to him. As I said, I suck at parrying in this game, so staying close usually ended up with me getting wrecked by his sword combos or his tailspin attack. You can tell he's about to do this attack when he crouches down for a second. He'll only do it if you're close, and if you keep your distance a bit more like I did, you won't have to worry about it. You'll need to watch out for his dash attacks at range. It doesn't matter how far away he is, he will hit you with it if you don't dodge or shield. As for his regular combos, I usually found that dodging through or behind him worked best to avoid these, if, like me, you aren't able to parry consistently. One of the best ways to guarantee an opening is to shoot the lantern hanging around his neck. This will stun him for a few seconds, allowing you to get some damage in. The time slow from Focus and Infused Arrow is great here, with the latter also doing a nice chunk of damage as well. Don't get too greedy with your follow-up attacks though, as he'll make a blind swing at you after a few seconds and resume his attacks. The lantern will stay dark for a bit, but will eventually light up again, allowing for more stuns. Rinse and repeat this process until you get him to half health. Once his health reaches 50%, Taro will cross his arms in front of him as red symbols appear around him. He'll roar, which will knock you back and do a tiny bit of damage if you're in range. After this, he'll do a dash attack, a short combo, and then do a jump attack. Once he impales his sword in the ground, it'll start to glow and then it'll explode, knocking him back and stunning him for a second. This is a great chance for a bit of damage at the start of Phase 2. Once Phase 2 begins, Taro will run around. A lot. Occasionally he'll swipe at you with his claws, but these attacks are more easily dodged than his sword attacks in my opinion. The real danger here is his grab. Taro will run directly at you and leap at you. If he catches you, you'll take a ton of damage. The grab also has a huge hitbox, so be wary. I found the best way to avoid his grab consistently was to dodge diagonally away from him as he gets close. This should put you out of range of the grab, but close enough to get in a few hits if you do it right. If you're feeling frisky and his lantern is lit, you can also shoot it while he's running at you for some free damage. Just don't miss. Otherwise, Phase 2 is pretty much like Phase 1, except you're going to either be chasing him around or dodging grabs. Hit his lantern when you can, don't get too greedy, and eventually he'll go down. Congratulations, you freed Taro from his corruption. Thank you so much for watching this boss guide. If you found it helpful, drop a like. If you have another tip for this fight, leave it in the comments. I plan to do some more boss fight guides for this game in the future, so if you'd like to see those, consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you don't miss them. I also stream most weeknights right here on YouTube, and I'd love for you to drop by and hang out. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again next time.